I almost need a bigger set for these 32-inch monsters. Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety of Wooks XXL. And there was a new rapid VA from Dell, well, Alienware, Dell, basically from Dell, but with a couple of added little extra features and functions like display HDR 400 as an example, TIV certified eye care and adaptive sync at 180 Hertz, and console support as well for the dual HDMI input, which we find on this monitor. And we might as well just start off with the elephant in the room. The package contents: you do get a kettle plug, you get a USB pass-through because there's a full fat pass-through function on here, which is something that Dell does. I just love on their monitors. You get an HDMI 4K certified and display 1.4A, I think this is, but definitely 2K 180 Hertz certified for both of those. And then you get obviously a YLD sticker along with your little manual pack. The base stand on the monitor is designed to implement some space saving, and it actually does work in that facet. The neck is very simply finished. I'm glad that they've gone with this brush sort of effect because it's going to wear out less over time. And then it's just plain blue instead of being overly bright or anything like that. You're not really going to look at it, so I'm glad that they didn't actually overkill it too much. They've just kind of simplified it down to being a really, really good basic stand setup. A big plus with the stand is the amount of travel and tilt that you both have. The travel goes from basically being in the floor to all the way up into the hummels, as it were, and then the tilt as well can actually lean forward over the top of you if you prefer that kind of setup, or if you're really, really tall and you need all the travel to the top and then some tilt on top of it, you're probably going to be comfortably able to get the square on, because the other elephant in the room is that this has a 1500R curve. The port setup is also typically Alienware. The only thing I think I would have liked to have had on this was a 3.5mm pass-through, especially if you're going to be using it with the HDMI with consoles. Then it would be nice if you've got like a really nice speaker system that you could output to that easily. And seeing as it has a console focus, it does feel like a little bit missing on this panel and this setup. The OSD is also typically Dell. It's got really good shortcut functions, so you can arrange the shortcuts and functions that you would want to have on it, like input as an example. If you're going to be switching between HDMI and DisplayPort on the supply quite often, then you're going to be able to, obviously, you're going to want to have that, and you can customize it, which is kind of nice. The rest of it is very typical. I own two Dells, which is why I'm saying that. I've got a first-gen VA and the 240 Hertz IPS, and they are basically exactly the same on the OSD function. This has a couple of more color functions in it. That's obviously so that you can get the right HDR kind of palettes and stuff. But in general, the RTS mode is always the best on pretty much every Dell panel that I use these days. That's quite a nice constant. Let's call it call it what it is. What was also missing from this panel, I think a little bit, is MPRT. I don't know how popular it is and how much it was used, but I did find that it helped a lot with smear in games. And like I said, this is supposed to be a rapid VA and it's got all the certifications, but I found that with very quick movements, it did still give me a bit of smear. The color palette and the vibrance and such that you get from this is really good. Put it in RTS mode, slap on 70% digital vibrance on the monitor itself, and you're A for away as far as like nice rich colors and stuff go for HDR like experiences. It's gonna pop is the long and the short of it if you use it in that mode. Like I said though, the high-end kind of esports gaming titles like CS and Dota, I find that there was enough smear to make it a little bit unpleasant. I wouldn't suggest this for that kind of setup, but I don't think you're going to be using it for that if you're getting a 32-inch, because it is very difficult to get like a good distance from the monitor to be able to see all of it corner to corner when you're playing those kinds of games. So I don't think it's going to be primary for that usage. If you're playing big open world environment games, it is going to be pretty good for that. Like I said, when you get to very rapid movements, you are going to notice smear. And funnily enough, it was the bright smear on this panel more than dark smear. The darks didn't, and the low contrast areas didn't smear as bad as brighter areas did. So just be aware that that is going to be a thing. But if you're playing like a racing sim or something to that effect with that display HDR 400, it's going to be quite a good time at 180 hertz as well. And that's where I was hoping there would be an MPRT, so it would go a little bit more into the esports fold than it does find itself. Overall, it's $7,500. It feels like a premium version of their S322DGM, I think was the exact model number for the old Dell. It's basically that with a curved panel and with the display HDR and with the console add-on. It does mean that it is going to be a bit more malleable and flexible if you've got a multi-gaming system setup. That's basically what it's being angled in towards. I'm very pro with the new stand. It is much smaller than what I have on my Alienware 240Hz IPS. That could be kind of annoying at times. It does take up an incredibly large amount of disk space. The periscope neck is still as good as it always was as well. Anywho, that's all I have for you on this AW3225DGM. If you have enjoyed this review, please let us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.